Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a Q&A about Sfsu because you guys have been asking a few questions in regards to how to get in and study abroad, and I also asked you guys to ask me questions because I was planning on doing this. But anyway, I looked up the GPA requirement for Sfsu and it looks like the average high school GPA is a 3.2. So it's not super high, it's very achievable, and that's the average, so I'm sure they take 2.5s or stuff like that. And then I also looked up the average SAT score, and for reading and writing it looks like it's between 430 and 540, and then for math it's 430 and 550. So those are the average scores. I also looked up the tuition because someone did ask for out of state. And for the in-state, or the state, California state residents, the tuition is $7,254. That did go up recently because it used to be 6,000 something when I first started. And the out-of-state tuition looks like it's 19,134. So, yeah. I personally did not live in the dorms, so I did not have to select a meal plan. I do know that you can buy meal plans even if you live off campus, but an average meal in SF, if you're eating out, it's gonna be between $10 and $15. It's rare to eat anything less than $10. So if you find a meal plan that is less than $10 a day, that's really good, or less than $10 per meal, that's really good. Where do most students live? A lot of us live in Park Merced, Ingleside, UPN, the Sunset, or on campus. So Park Merced is literally you just walk onto campus, and then UPN is on the opposite side and it's right by Stonestown, which is the shopping mall, and a lot of food courts are there. And then the Sunset is a really nice area actually, and it's a lot cheaper than Park Merced. You can find a house there for 3,000 something and then just rent out all the rooms obviously. And it's pretty close to the beach and it's pretty close to campus. If you take a specific bus, it'll usually take you 20 minutes to get onto campus, which isn't bad. And then living in the dorms, obviously. Living in the dorms is kind of expensive, and I've heard that they're not all that nice, but it's also for the experience. So if you can live in the dorms, I would do that. I really wanted to live in the dorms actually, but it's fine. I'm over it really. So as you guys may or may not know, I am a communications major, communication studies, and currently our program is very impacted. In this last year, we lost a few professors, so I know that the school was trying to hire new ones because there's not enough classes for everyone. What do you do when classes are impacted? You basically just have to crash classes that you want. For freshmen, you do get first priority, but you guys do enroll at orientation, and depending on your orientation date, a lot of classes can be taken already. So if you're a freshman, don't stress too much about it. Just try to get your GEs out of the way, like English, math, science. Try to get those out of the way first and then go from there. Do see an advisor as many times as you can, just so that you can make sure that you're still on the right track. But classes will be impacted no matter the major. It's a CSU, all CSUs are impacted, so it's kind of hard to get classes, but don't stress, even though I'm stressing. Next question. How much are textbooks? So the textbooks do vary in prices depending on your major. As I said, I'm a communications studies major, so my books are not that expensive. I think the most expensive comm book that I've purchased was probably around $70. A lot of the marketing and science majors and math majors, I know their textbooks can be a lot more expensive. That's probably the cheapest that a marketing textbook will be, $70. My astronomy book was, I want to say, $80, which I still have, so if you guys need it, comment down below and you guys can have it because I don't need it. I mean, I'll sell it to you, but for a cheaper price. And yeah, I know that a lot of those majors, their books can be hundreds of dollars, which is ridiculous. So it just depends on your major. And a lot of classes, you don't really need the book. Like my class, I remember one time, it was this past semester, I didn't buy the book for this class because I had crashed the class and I didn't even realize we needed a book for the class until the quiz came. And I was like, what? Like everyone's been reading? And then I got a C on the quiz, which isn't bad, but I could have done better. And then I just waited until the next quiz to see how I was doing. I think I got a B on the next one, so I was like, you know what, like, I don't really need the book. We're halfway through the semester anyway. And then at one point, I pretended like I forgot my book, and then my professor was like, how do you guys expect to pass the class if you don't read? Like, I can guarantee you, you will not pass this class if you don't read. Your girl got an A, so yeah, sometimes you really just don't need the book. I don't recommend that though. You like, still read, do your homework. Honestly, like you have your Greek life, so like all your sororities and fraternities. There's IEC, which I have spoken about in my study abroad ones, which is, it's called International Educational Exchange Council, and that's a pretty cool program because they have the students from, like all the exchange students are forced to be in it, and then they have committees within, so they have like an arts, PR and marketing, executive council. What else did we have? Yeah, there's like a bunch of like little committees within, and honestly, like I add that to my resume, or whenever I go to interviews and they ask me what kind of experience I have with marketing and PR, I always add this because I was in charge of like social media, posting on social media, the newsletter, designing flyers, so you know it's something that you can add to your resume. And they usually hang out in the Malcolm X Plaza during the beginning of the school year, so I would give them a look. Also, there's a lot of language exchange groups, so you can go to a club and learn another language. Like I went to an Italian one before. They also have Spanish. What is the social life like? Non-existent. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so honestly, it depends on what kind of person you are. I feel like it's really hard to keep connections with people here because it is a commuter campus, so a lot of students just kind of come and leave. Like you have to make friends with people who actually live in San Francisco, or else you're just gonna be like, I wish I could hang out with someone, but everyone's in like Castro Valley or Hayward or Livermore, like all these other random cities that are just too far to get to. Also, I think it's a lot easier if you're 21 and over because there is a bar on campus, so you guys can just go get drinks after class, which is super cool, but can't relate because I'm not 21. And yeah, I think a lot of the Greek life people, I think they make a lot of really strong connections because they're obviously forced to be together all the time. So if you're into that, go for it. And yeah, I do recommend that you get involved with at least one club on campus because that's where you'll make most of your friends. Places, I honestly don't eat out a lot, but the most popular places I would say for like students who live really near to campus would be Blaze Pizza, which is inside Stonestown, McDonald's, which is right next to Stonestown. I know, it's cheap though and it saves your life, honestly. And then if you want to go farther out, I would really recommend Signori's Pizza on Terraval. It's so good, you guys. Like, the best pizza ever. And the slices are pretty cheap. Like, a pesto slice is, I want to say like $4 something, which is pretty good. And then if you want like cheese or pepperoni type of thing, it's like $3 for a slice, which is really good. And it's like quality pizza. And then, as always, my favorite cafe, Home. Honestly, Home, love it. It's... I love it. So I would really recommend those places. And then if you want to eat on campus, Cesar Chavez will have all of the food places basically. And Cafe Rosso is a very popular one, but I've heard like mixed things about Cafe Rosso. Like I've heard that their burgers are really good, and then someone else told me that they were disgusting and it tasted like cardboard. So from what I remember, you can't. My sister said she could. She went to Cal State East Bay, but she applied through CSUIP, which is a different program from SF State Exchange. From what I remember, we were not allowed to apply to multiple programs. We could have a second choice, like say like Erasmus University is my first choice, and then Carlos III is my second choice. I can list it as my second choice, but I don't think I actually would have applied. from what I remember. I think how it works, talk to study abroad because I'm not fully sure. You list them both, and then SF State can nominate you for both and send them both your paperwork, but you can only go to one. Yeah. And then the last question, work on campus through, you can do what's it called, work study, and you can apply and you can only work, I think if you work through the school you can only work 20 hours on campus a week. And then you can work like at Massouf Wellness Center. You can be a assistant at like one of the, like say like you can be the assistant at the student center, or at the library, like stuff like that. Like there's small jobs that you can do on campus. You can also work at the cafeteria or at the coffee places. I got it as a freshman, my very first semester, and it was kind of crazy how it happened. So as a comm major, I want to do PR or marketing or advertising, anything creative like that, right? So I was at my kitchen table studying with one of my friends that I had just met, and then someone knocks on my door, and I was like, that's weird, I don't have any friends here. So then I go and open the door, and it's Norman Yee, which is, I don't know if he still is, but he was the District 7, or he was running for District 7 supervisor. And so he was just like kind of like handing out flyers with some girl. And then he like introduced himself to me. He was like, oh, do you go to Sfsu? And I was like, yeah. And he asked me what my major was, and I said communications. And he was like, oh, I'm actually looking for people to help with the communication side of my campaign. Would you be interested? And I was kind of sketched out. Like I was like, this is really weird. Like I'm new to this city. I don't know if this is normal. So, and like I didn't want to take it because I was just like, not really. I've never really been into politics like that, so I didn't really care to be involved with it. But then I was like, an internship, that's cool. So then he told me to email him if I was interested, and then I emailed him and his assistant, and yeah, they basically like let me be a part of the campaign. I interned for him for a couple of months just because it was already August, and then the campaign ended in November. It's kind of like go to public places with him. I would just like show up with him, and we would hand out flyers and talk about his campaign, what he wanted to change and all that. And so I kind of got to see a little bit of politics and like PR in that sense. And then I was also a PR officer for IEC, and that was cool because I did social media and all of that. And then what was my next internship? I think my next internship is my current internship, which is for Project Glimmer, and they're a really cool organization. They're a nonprofit, and what I do for them is social media as well, but not really. So I'm their social media and communications intern, and I've just basically done like transcription of stuff, looked through pictures, posted on social media, planned posts for them, and yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like I feel like it's kind of easy to get an internship out here for like nonprofits. I haven't applied for an internship for like a real company, like a big brand name, but being in the Bay Area, it's so much easier to get an internship, I feel, because there's something everywhere. Like someone literally knocked on my door and offered me an internship. Like that's crazy, you know? So yeah, I would say just apply to any type of internship you're interested in. Apply to the big ones, and then if you don't get those, apply to small ones like nonprofits or places on campus, just places where you can get any type of little experience. That'll be great. And I think that concludes today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in as always, and let me know if you guys have any other questions or what you would like the next video to be. Please give this video a thumbs up because it really supports my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.